everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Hopefully I earned your sub today. So The Last of Us Part 2, it's one of the more infamous games to come out last generation. And personally speaking, I did get all the trophies in the game. I played this game a lot. I wasn't a fan of the narrative. The gameplay and the overall realism and functions of the game are outstanding. It is an exceptionally designed game. But the writing, the characters are extremely poor. They act almost inhuman at times, especially Jesse. Dear God, I don't know who wrote Jesse, but freaking hell, they have a real hatred for Asian men because, wow. But regardless, regardless of whether you hate the game or like the game, it sold very well, and it is very polarizing, but the game franchise is still beloved by a lot of people. The Last of Us Part 1 was remastered and re-released on PlayStation 5. It came out on PC in a horrible state because they wanted to capitalize on the TV show, which was exceptional. But now we could see that The Last of Us Part 2 could begin remastered. Just to put into context, this game came out in 2020, so yeah, I'm not really sure how they can remaster this game considering that Part 1 was remastered with The Last of Us Part 2 visual design in mind. And I mean, I guess they can add new context, new levels, but the game is already very bloated. My first time playing this game, it took me, I would think, around 12, 13 hours to complete this game. I'm not sure, but it was a very bloaty game, and a lot of people feel like a lot of the game was just overextended just for the sake of not even narrative purposes, just to extend the life of the game. And it didn't have multiplayer, which there is a multiplayer function coming out that's a separate entity of itself that was rumored to be delayed because of development issues. So we're going to read this from Insider Gaming. In a new interview from The Last of Us composer Gustavo Santaolalla has hinted that The Last of Us Part 2 will begin a remastered. It sounds odd to be talking about a Last of Us Part 2 remaster, but exactly what was hinted at the game's composer Gustavo Santaolalla in a recent interview with Blender. Santaolla's character can be found in the game playing the banjo and Jackson, and while there is currently, you can tell he really rushed this article, currently no way to interact. That's exactly that was hinted at in the interview. According to Santaolalla, you're going to be able to request songs in the new version of the game. Unfortunately, a remaster per se wasn't exactly mentioned, so it couldn't be a remaster. It could be either an updated version of The Last of Us Part 2, they just add a patch into the game, or it could be hints of the sequel, The Last of Us Part 3, which is in development. They completed the script for the game, but likely we won't see that game until 2026, maybe a long time from now. Usually the scripts are written first, and it's a long time before we actually get the game. It's possible that a new feature could be part of the new direction of the cut of the game too, but whatever is the case, it seems like a new version of the game is on the horizon. So if they do make a new version of the game, it wouldn't surprise me if they release it as a $70 game, because it's Sony after all. I mean, they released The Last of Us Part 1 as a $70 game, and it didn't have the multiplayer, despite the opening cinematic literally stating the multiplayer. Like, if you watch it or watch my walkthrough, you can literally see it there. So they didn't even cut out that opening section of the game, so it wouldn't surprise me. Not to mention, if you want an upgrade, it'll probably be $10 extra, because Sony stated that the last game to offer free upgrades was Horizon Forbidden West, and the only reason they offered upgrades for that game was because the backlash was so large, they just kind of snuck it in for players. So it's likely if you already own the PS4 version of the game, you're going to have to pay $10. And they could also hint at the fact that there could be a PC release of The Last of Us Part 2. After all, PC versions of the PlayStation games have been selling very well. Yeah, The Last of Us Part 1 was a horrible, tragic event, but with God of War, you can see that, and the Uncharted series, you can see that they have put extra effort in these releases. They kind of just rushed out Part 1 because of the HBO special, which, by the way, is a fantastic show. Sony has released several director's cuts in recent years. The likes of Ghost of Tsushima director's cut and Death Stranding's director's cut both come into PS5. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut because I kind of just I didn't want to pay the extra money for it. And Director's Cut for Death Stranding, I did play. I got a review copy from 505 Games. It was exceptional. It was an improvement in every way from the original game, and basically makes the original game just, you shouldn't play it. Just play the Director's Cut. It's superior in every way. With the success of The Last of Us HBO show and delay of The Last of Us multiplayer in the works, a Director's Cut of the Part 2 makes sense to capitalize on the show's recent success. Yeah, and again, if this is going to be a PC release, definitely. On The Last of Us multiplayer, Naughty Dog recently said, "We know many of you have been looking forward to hearing more about The Last of Us multiplayer game. We're incredibly proud of the job our studio has done thus far, but development has continued. We've realized is what is best for the game is to give it more time. Our team will continue to work on the project as well as our other games in development, including a brand new single-player experience we look forward to sharing more soon." That's likely Last of Us Part 3. But regardless, the way I see it is that it's going to be either the PS5 remaster of this game with, probably uncapped frame rate, 60 frames per second or something like that, and the PC release of this game. So they're going to call that the remaster. And if Sony wants to keep the good graces of their community, give it to players who own the first version free, but I doubt that's going to happen. You're going to have to pay $10. I almost are going to bet on that. But this is likely going to be a PS5 release with updated visuals and other things, and a PC release with, all the works, with ultra-wide support, uncapped frame rate, and all that stuff. Because after what happened with The Last of Us Part 1, I doubt Naughty Dog wants to repeat that, because that took a huge hit on their reputation in terms of the quality of that version of the game. And it was just shocking, considering that The Last of Us Part 1, I believe, released in 2012. But it released first on PS3, then PS4, then PS5, and then PC, so 4 times. So it just seems like kind of strange how they allow that to go out to market, all things considered. So tell me, what do you think about this? Would you play The Last of Us Part 2 again? Did you like the game? If you did, I would love to hear your opinion on it. And yeah, that's going to be it from me. Personally speaking, I would likely play this game. Like, I am a sucker for The Last of Us. Heck, I paid $70 for the remake of the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 1. So, call me a sucker or call me just like an S word for this franchise, but I think high hopes of it. So, tell me what you think in the comments below. That's me signing out. Goodbye.